avoid these 5 common mistakes before or after your food, after meal to be precise. Now, food is life. Let me remind us, food can also bring death. Depending on some of these things I want to highlight in this video. And why am I also making this video? I fell victim to one of these mistakes, and guess what? I escaped it. Just listen and follow this video to the end. If you like to eat and you love life, this is not about seniors, it's not about middle age, it's about everybody that eats food. Whether you are a child or a teenager, this video is for you. Because as a matter of fact, the people that are often caught up in some of these mistakes are the teenagers, because they take a lot of things for granted. Now, when you eat, it is that same food that your body uses in repairing your body, in building your body, in doing all the job that needs to be done. And that is why food is so important. If you are not eating, you get worried. Why? Because something serious is wrong. If your child fails to eat, you get worried too, because something serious is wrong with that child. But please, take note of these mistakes. Number 1, avoid wearing tight clothes before food. Whether you're a young person, whether it's jeans you're wearing or skirt, give your food respect, some respect, so that it won't lead to death. We have heard news, unconfirmed news of people who were eating, and after eating at certain point of the food, they loosened their trousers or their belt, their tight belts, and gave up from there. Yes, these are the mistakes that can occur. Some people could be lucky, some may not be lucky. And so before eating, it's important to loosen your wrappers, loosen your trouser, loosen your skirt. Don't say that you have been doing it and nothing is happening to you. You may not always be lucky. It's a very bad and dangerous habit that can cause instant death. So whenever you want to eat, remove any tight clothing you're wearing around you. Teach your children also, when you want to eat, remove those tight so that the food will flow and move freely as you eat. From the upper intestine to the lower, it has to flow freely without any obstruction. Because some of these things, when you are eating and something is obstructing that food from going to the second part of the intestine, of the stomach, or wherever, the time you loosen that thing, everything could just rush down. And some people, like I said before, may be lucky. Besides the discomfort that it gives us when we wear tight clothing during meal, it may cause other discomforts like indigestion, gastric problems, a lot of other uncomfortable problems that comes up after the food because of what? You are wearing something very tight and the food was not allowed to flow freely. It can cause a lot of other issues, discomforts that sometimes could even linger longer than you can imagine. Number 2 thing to avoid is avoid drinking water during meals. Yes, while growing up, a good number of us were forced to drink water due to ignorance. Why? Because our illiterate parents did this to avoid us eating too much. But this is a very bad and dangerous habit or mistake, as I call it. When you are eating, don't take water. That's not time for water. There is time for everything. Drink water 30 minutes before your food. You can also take water 30 minutes after that meal. But while that meal is going in, please avoid drinking water. When you take water, it will dilute the acid that the stomach is getting ready to digest that food. And it can lead to other gastric problems. Some people may eat a very good food, a healthy food, but after maybe 5, 10, 30 minutes after the food, they start having some problems. Some of these things may be linked to the dilution of the acid. Maybe the water is already separate, the acid is separate. So, and it will dilute it to the point that it may not be able to work on the food, and the food can even stay longer. Although over time, some of these things could resolve themselves, but it's not something you need to just be trying out if you have been taught about it. Avoid drinking during meal, and again, immediately after that food. It's the same effect that it's going to have. A good number of you and I made that mistake, but not anymore. When you are eating, you will be told, get a cup of water. As you take food, halfway, you drink water. Stop it. Teach your loved ones to stop it. It's not a good habit. Ignorance made us do it. But now you know. Now, number 3 habit is going to bed immediately. It's very tempting, especially with seniors. Yes, this point with seniors. After eating, especially a heavy meal, all of us are guilty of eating heavy, to full. And so after eating, sometimes you feel like you want to just sleep off because of the weight of the food. It's very common. But please avoid it. Sometimes those signs of feeling sleepy may be signs of insulin resistance. I've experienced it a few times. It's one of the ones I told you. But you wouldn't know. Some people went to sleep and from there they went into coma. And most times when people consume, foods that are high in carbohydrates and this blood sugar rises suddenly, a good number of people, their body, shows off in different ways. Sometimes it's just feeling like sleeping. That's deep sleeping, feeling like you want to sleep. It's not a good sleep. After a few minutes or thereabout, you woke up. That's what happens to. That is exactly the point I said I've been caught up in it. Stop it. Some people will sleep like that, and it will require medical assistance to get them back, especially diabetics and pre-diabetics. And because this applies to diabetics and pre-diabetics, all the seniors should be aware of this mistake. If after eating you're feeling like you want to just relax and sleep off, please, it's time to stand up. If the sugar is high and you start, small strolling now, just sit up. You don't need to go for strenuous walk. Just sit up and be active. Don't just go lie down, just the way you are feeling. Don't respond to the exact demand that moment that your body is placing on you to go and sleep, because it may be that the sugar is high. And if you are in doubt of what I am telling you now, sometimes when that happens, go get your blood sugar monitor and check your sugar. Just check your sugar. Some of you may be shocked at the reading. So avoid going to bed. Whether you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, whichever way, if you are none of them, don't do it. It may even give rise to insulin build-up. Insulin resistance building up when you just go to bed or sleep. I know a handful of people that are doing it. Seniors. They feel it doesn't matter. But my dear, life is precious. And everything lies in our hands. And so, if you finish eating, just stay active. At least 30-40 minutes. It's not too much, even if you are feeling that way. Stay active at least 30-40 minutes. A good number of us, after eating, we just want to sleep. And most times we sleep and the sleep is not usually deep. The time the real sleep wants to start, we wake up. When others are sleeping, you stay awake. Either the blood sugar is high, not knowing that it was the negative side effect of it that was forcing you, the brain, to switch off, and you start feeling like you're sleeping. Then the next habit is going for strenuous work. Yes, you heard me. Yes, we have heard that you should do exercise after food, but not immediately after food. You start going for strenuous work. I have learned from it, and I don't want it to happen to you. It can lead to hiccup. Hiccup, and some people never recovered from a hiccup. As simple as hiccup is, as minute as it is, it's a health condition that has taken some people to the other side. And so you don't have to give your respiratory tract or give your body any occasion to start to hiccup. It has happened to me. Not now, but I have had that experience before, and was actually linked to stress and going for, you are trying to hurry up and catch up with something, and you didn't allow the food to settle. I use the word to settle in your body properly. But the food needs to settle. It's a serious business. The body is a serious job you are bringing in for your body to do. So it's not something you just eat and you are rushing. Everything needs to be in place. And so immediately you finish eating, especially the younger ones may be getting away with some of these mistakes. But seniors should be more cautious, because all these hiccup triggering mistakes and habits, you just finish eating and you are rushing to catch up with one assignment, with one meeting or the other, and while you are trying to do it, just start hiccupping up. Don't start that trigger. It's difficult to manage medically, talking of hiccup. And not only the hiccup, there are other things also, but this one is the one that I know. I've had it some years back. Don't be hurry. It's good. You can go for a walk, which is necessary, which is needed after meal, but not the rushing type of walk to catch up with something. Allow the food to settle, and then you can now go for a walk or a mild exercise if you need it, which is okay, which is healthy, which is normal. But don't be in a hurry. After food, you just drop the food and you are off, trying to catch up. On the way, you might start hiccupping up. The body is complaining. And before you know it, some of you are rushing for over-the-counter medications. So don't forget, beware of these habits. Prevention is always better than cure. Now, the last of this habit is hurrying to eat, to have your meal when you are tired, highly exhausted. Now, a lot of us are also guilty of this very mistake. For various reasons, we are hurrying up. Either it's getting too late, or we are too hungry to wait, or for whatever reason. But it's a very serious mistake which we must avoid, especially the older adult. Because when we are tired, the body does not produce digestive juice easily. It can cause indigestion. It can cause other, health challenges that could be prevented. When you are too tired. At times, you are too tired and you just, for one or more of these reasons, you just decide to have your meal. Sometimes we give the reason that it's getting late. The best time to eat is after resting, because eating is a serious business, and our body needs to be ready for it. So each time we are tired, let's avoid the mistake of not even resting at all. A lot of us, and I repeat, are guilty of this. We are just too hungry to wait. That is one of the most common reasons I can tell you. You're too hungry, because hunger itself comes with some kind of tension and urgency. And so once we are hungry, it's like we just want to eat. But please, let's avoid that temptation and take a few minutes. I discovered that sometimes even 15 minutes is okay. I've had time trying to struggle with that resting issue. But a good number of times, it's not even up to 30, it normally doesn't get up to 30 minutes before the real hunger comes. Because when you have rested, that is when the real hunger really comes. Because at times, you are just stressed out and you thought you are hungry. But the real hunger comes after resting. And I tell you, 30 minutes, 40 minutes is okay. Even more than that is okay. But I have also found out that a good number of times, when I try to make it 30 minutes, 40, it doesn't get up to, before 20 minutes, I'm already up. Because the hunger continues to increase while you are resting. Why? Because as you are resting, the body is already releasing acid for digestion. And while you are resting, as the acid is being released, the hunger is also increasing. And so the next time, you just notice you can't just rest anymore, but to rush and eat. But just take out some time to rest. It's going to help your health. It's going to help your blood pressure, your sleep. It's going to help reduce things like even inflammations when we resist that temptation and rest before eating. And if you love this message, click the subscription button and don't forget to share it. Thank you for watching.